listening to the Twin Theory Podcast, Season 2, Episode 1. Hey, and welcome back to the Twin Theory Podcast. We are in Season 2. Season 2, the Twin Series, and we are also starting 2021, y'all. We're back. Yep, it's 2021. We are in January of 2021. We hope you all had a great holiday season and a fantastic new year. So we are so thankful, so very thankful for all of our followers and everybody who started to listen to the Twin Theory Podcast as we launched in 2020. We're hoping to continue on and do bigger and better things in 2021. And so to start off 2021, as promised, we're going to do something a little different today. And we want to kick off this twin series. And before we kick it off, first, did you want to give them a little background on what they can kind of expect, a little sneak peek? Yeah, so today we're actually going to be answering the top 10 questions that we get as twins, just to kind of start off with a little something fun for you this series. And then we'll talk a little bit about twins and identity development, as well as siblings of twins and parents of twins and just other twin things. And also as well, if you're interested in a twin topic, if you will, feel free to submit that to us and we'll try to squeeze that into our twin series. Absolutely. So without further ado, definitely this one, again, like we said, it's just a fun episode. We want to kind of, answer some of those common questions that me and Marissa have heard so many times so many times, okay? Over this last 30 years, it's just ridiculous. I'm going to start off. We got 10 questions, our top 10. Top 10. And I want to start off with a question that we have been asked the most out of all the questions. And that is, are you all twins? Yes, and we should get paid for every time we're asked that question. We was paid for every time. We could have retired years ago. Yes. Years ago. And so what's your answer to that question, Marissa, when you get an answer like, why I respond to that? Yeah, how do you respond? So when we were younger, it was kind of like, whoa, we were excited. Like, oh yeah, we're twins. And then as we hit like middle school, high school, it was kind of like, well, let's play around with this answer because we've been asked a million times. So it was, oh, we're best friends, or oh, we're neighbors, oh, we're cousins. And people would look at us like, oh my God, y'all look a lot alike to be like best friends. And then as I've gotten older, like now, adult age, it's just no big deal. If somebody's like, are you all twins? We're like, yeah. I mean, it's still kind of surprising to me that people look at the both of us and see twins, because I look at the both of us and I just see two completely different people, which we are two completely different people, but I see two like not like you know exactly what I mean, like two people that don't look alike at all. Like to me, I oftentimes forget we're twins until we have to explain or somebody asks us or something like that. Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because my answer was a lot different, between when I was younger and now me being older. When we were younger, we used to wear a lot of the same clothing and everything, and so it was easy. It was like, oh, y'all twins? Yeah, we twins. But then like after so many years and we start to kind of grow into our own person and have our own personalities and stuff. It's just kind of like when people ask, you're just kind of like, oh, yeah, we are twins. Yeah, it's like a reminder. Yeah, oh, yes, we are twins. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. we kind of favor. You know what I'm saying? Just a little bit. Kind of favor. And then, of course, after they ask the, are you twins, it leads to the next question. Are you all identical? And, gosh, a lot of times when people ask, are we twins, I assume that they would assume that we were identical, but we get asked that question so many times. It's just interesting. It's like, well, we obviously look enough alike to get the question, are you all twins? So we are most likely identical. But I answer very nicely, and say yes. Yeah. I don't know. As we've gotten older, I feel like some people, it's 50-50. Some people say, oh my goodness, you guys don't really favor that much. You look more fraternal. Whereas some people still say, oh my goodness, you two look identical. So I don't know. I feel like that's just split right down the middle. So yeah, it's kind of split down the middle, I guess. Some people just want to know. They
figure or they have a hunch or they hear somebody else mention that we're twins or whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay.
The question doesn't annoy me, though. I'm used to it. So I'm like, yeah, we're identical. I mean, again, I still think it's kind of some flattery like, oh, you're asking, do you think we're identical? Because I don't think we look nothing alike, but it's kind of cool that you,
it's
kind of cool that you think that we look alike.
And that is a 50-50. There are some people that don't think that we look that much alike. They think we favor. And then there's some people that's like, I can't tell y'all apart. So
right.
Have no idea where we fit on that spectrum. And so it starts with are you all twins? Then it goes to the are you all identical? And then the very next question.
Oh boy,
after they ask, are we identical?
Oh my goodness.
It's the best question ever.
It's not the best question
Which
ever.
one is the oldest?
That's such a controversial question.
Why is it controversial?
Well, first off, who asked twins who is the oldest? Because obviously they're the same age. But for our story, just to clarify, just to give the background, people, and this is Marissa speaking, we were born premature, 2 months early. If we were born at a natural birth, Marissa would have come out first, but
you weren't.
Okay, really quick. My sister had some heart problems, so we had to go out through a C-section, and she was positioned on top to come out, so she came out first that way. But had it been God's plan and we came out the natural way,
I need
the natural way, I would have been the oldest.
His plan. Nothing happens outside of his plan.
Yeah,
thank you, hallelujah. And so I was the oldest by 1 minute, because that's the next question. How much older are you than your sister? I'm 1 minute older.
Yes, and let's clarify it with C-section, because people could be surprised, like, your mom popped y'all out a minute? No.
When C-section. We were younger, we used to think that, though. We was like,
it was a minute apart, and people would be looking at us like, oh my God.
Apart, and they're like, oh my
your mom
goodness,
is Superwoman.
You must not know anything about science.
right.
And the human anatomy.
Right.
I mean,
C-section people, C-section.
Yeah, they pulled me out, and they pulled Riss out. But that oldest, I am the oldest by a minute. And I feel like I get held to that 1 minute because my parents still say, our parents still say, you know, this is my eldest daughter. My father says it all the time. And it's so weird. I know the people that meet me and then find out that, like, oh, we're twins. They kind of look at him kind of funny, but I don't know what it is. But he
always refers to you as the eldest.
As the eldest daughter.
But we're twins. It's whatever.
Anyway. Are you all twins? Are you identical? Who's the oldest? Oh, and then the next one. What are your names?
What are your names?
What are your names? And normally, if Marissa says Marissa first, then they are like expecting for me to say like Clarissa or Melissa.
Right.
And then I'm like Courtney, and they're so deflated.
It's like deflation. Like,
they're looking like, what?
Like immediate letdown.
Yeah, like, what do you mean your name is Courtney? Or if I start off and say my name is Courtney, they're really perplexed. Like, well, then what is her name?
Right. Because it's supposed to rhyme, right?
Right. Like, It's so interesting how many people ask us what our names are, that people that don't even know us ask us what our names are. And then once we, like, reveal to them that they don't rhyme, they're, like, disappointed. And, like,
for the longest time growing up, it was just Marissa and Clarissa. Like, everybody just made your name rhyme with mine.
They
Courtney.
made it Clarissa.
It just had to be Clarissa.
It had my great grandmother named me Clarissa pretty much.
Pretty much.
It was like, but Nanny, I'm Courtney Clarissa.
Right.
Like, but I'm Courtney Clarissa. Okay. You know,
I guess
like,
you're Clarissa now.
I guess I'm Clarissa today. Like, I don't have any power to go against Nana. So if she say Clarissa, I'm Clarissa for now.
For the longest time.
Oh my goodness. Guys, this happened. Well, it's over a year ago now. Because we were eating without a mask, I feel like.
Right.
We went to a restaurant, and we left the restaurant, and I'm like, wow, we're like older adults at that point, like 28 or something. And this lady, and I think in her daughter, this older lady was like, are you guys twins? Oh my God. And we were like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh, who's the oldest? And I'm like, oh, I'm the oldest. And then she's like, oh, what's your name? And I'm like, I'm Courtney. And Marissa was like, I'm Marissa. And she was like, shame on your mother. And I'm like, what?
Like, what? It was like with sacrilegious, like against the Bible or something.
Yeah,
Like she just like killed the mode.
Oh
like
man, she just like
everything was just shut down.
Everything
like,
was
mood is
so
over.
weird. Like I've seen some people have a little bit of a letdown, or some people say, "Oh, that's smart." Like I get it. But like, man, that's the first time that had ever happened where somebody looked like totally like that was wrongdoing or something. Like we were unclean.
Right. I'm like, so anyway, like maybe if somebody can find the origin of twin rhyming names and the purpose behind
who said that they
shoot us an email if y'all find the
origin behind the rhyming of the name.
Yeah, let us know what you find out.
That's weird, but at least I would take a rhyme over. One of the guys at my job, he's a twin. His name is Muhammad, and his twin's name is Muhammad. And I'm like, wow, that's got to be difficult.
That's just
like I think it's something they practice in their culture or religion or something like it. Muhammad and Muhammad, they all have the same like initials. He said their middle names are different, but it's the same initial.
No, I'd be mad if I was the family.
If I'm the doctor, I'd be like,
forget about it. Yeah, yeah. All kind of charts jacked up. Yes, no.
So those are probably like the top 4 questions we get from people. But then there's other questions that we get from like, some friends or people that we kind of get to know, co-workers and that sort of thing. And so here we go. Can you read each other's minds? Absolutely not. I cannot read Marissa's mind, and I do not believe Marissa can read my mind.
I can't read your mind.
Now, if you ask our father, I don't know if he experienced something when we were younger that we can't remember because we were so young at the time, but he will tell you that we have telepathy,
all the time.
Have telepathic powers, and that we know what the other is thinking. I don't know what happened when we were younger. I can't vouch for when I was 1, 2, and 3 because I don't remember that far back.
Memory doesn't kick in.
It doesn't kick that far back. But I do remember, like, when we were younger, and the stories that I hear a lot from family members and stuff is, hey, Marissa didn't really talk like that. No, she needed like a speech pathologist or something and stuff. Like, you didn't really talk, and so I spoke for you. And, they're like, hey, if we went to McDonald's and, and we asked you what you wanted to eat, you say, hey, I want a chicken McNugget meal. And we say, well, Marissa, what do you want to eat? Marissa would look at you, and then you would look at us and say, oh, she wants a hamburger meal. And we would get the hamburger meal, and she would eat it. And I'm like, that's creepy.
That is creepy.
It's creepy on a whole nother level.
Lots of
I don't remember any of that. Mm-mm. So, outside of that, the only other time is I was in high school. And you remember that?
Yes, I do remember.
In high school, and we were in the gymnasium waiting to go to our first class of the day, and Marissa, I think, had walked off to the restroom or something. Anyway, she left the gymnasium, and they asked me, do you know where she's at? Do you know what she's thinking? And I just played along. I said, yeah. And they said, where is she right now? And I said, she's about to walk through that door. There was like 6 or 7 doors in the gym. I pointed to one door. Before I could say, psych, just kidding, Riss walked through the door. And they went crazy. And Riss was like, what just happened? I'm like, I don't know.
It was total guess.
It's total guess. So it's just sheer luck.
A lot of people say that we do things like finish each other's sentences, and we do things that kind of complement each other that might make people think we can read each other's minds. But I just think we've been around each other for so long, our entire life, obviously, that we can kind of pick up on each other's behavior enough to understand what the other is thinking or what the other is about to do. So it's not that we can read each other's mind. We can just read each other's behavior very well.
Yeah, I mean, we lived together for 14 years.
Yes.
I don't wish that on anybody.
Nobody.
But we lived together. I don't mean like live together. We lived together longer than that.
Yeah.
But we shared a room. How about that for 14 years? I wouldn't wish that on whom.
We shared a phone in high school. Now imagine that
first car.
2 people, 1 phone. We shared a phone. We shared the first, it was a lot of sharing.
Yeah, if you need a partner that knows how to share, find a twin.
Yes.
Definitely. But that pretty much answers the next question, too. That's a really popular question. Can you feel when the other is hurt or in pain? Somebody asked me and called me. I'm not going to say what they said specifically, but they said in pleasure as well. And I was like, really?
This is weird.
What? That is awkward.
Yeah, it's really weird.
And no.
Let's just go back to the hurt and pain.
And pain.
In 3rd grade, when you broke your arm. So my sister and I, like, our classes would pass by each other when we were in recess. So her class would be like at recess, and then when they finish, my class would go to recess. And so I knew something was off that day. So I was like really anticipating recess because I was going to look for her as our classes passed each other. And so the time happened and our class is going out and her class is coming in and I don't see her like at all. And I'm like, it just heightens everything. I'm like, I knew something was off. And then my dad picks me up from school and he does a very terrible job of trying to cover up what's going on.
Yeah.
And so he's just beating around the bush with what's going on and where we're going. And it turns out that Courtney had broke her arm and we were headed to the hospital. But I knew something was off. Like, I couldn't feel anything. I just knew, like, something is off.
I just think we were really close. Like, definitely, you know, when we were, under 10, like,
oh, yeah.
All right, we would look for each other. You know, like, we were in separate classes. We'll talk about that. Separate classes, different classes.
Oh, yeah.
Same classes. Like, there's so many twin studies that came out. They was flipping us all around.
All over the place.
But every time we were, like, walking in the hallway or something and we saw each other, it was like, oh, connection moment. Hi. How are you? Hi. See you in an hour.
Right,
you know,
like we hadn't seen each other.
Like we hadn't seen each other in
we don't see
months.
everybody. Like we see each other every day. But we always look for each other, like, you know, in the hallway or at recess or in the bathroom. It was like the first time seeing each other.
And like in ages, in like a year or something, it'd be lunchtime. And I'm like, oh, Marissa. Like, I know my teacher.
Yeah, we clearly rode to school together, got dressed together, everything.
Why did we do that?
I don't know why we did that.
I don't know why we did that, but we were so excited to see each other. Like, oh my God, it's Marissa. We don't do that anymore.
No, we don't do that at all.
At some point, we grew out of that.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened, but we grew out of that.
Thank God for growth.
Okay. Hallelujah. Oh, gosh. The other question, oh my goodness, this question, have you ever switched places? The quick, down, dirty answer to that is yes, in which we will not elaborate at this moment in time because we probably need to go to the drawing board and figure out what
we will reveal to you all and what we will not reveal.
100. You know,
some things could actually probably put us in prison.
Yeah, oh yeah.
we probably get locked up for some of the things we switch places on.
We got to, you know, we got to keep the twin code safe.
Right. That violates honor code 127.
Yeah,
you
something for the twins. But yes, we have switched places.
Violate the twin bylaws.
I feel like it's a rites of passage. Yes. If you're an identical twin, you have to switch places at least once. Me and you did a few times and some high stakes times too.
Yes, we did.
Okay, next question.
Okay, yes, let's move on.
Do you do everything together? No.
And we said that together too. No. Some twins do everything together, and that is okay. We're not shunning that. We're not knocking that down. But we're not those twins. So we are, and when we get to identity and personality, we'll kind of dive into our differences and differences in twins. But honestly, you know, we do have differences that requires us not to be together, and that's fine. I do like my space, and I know you like your space too.
Absolutely,
so.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do love my space. I do value some good space.
I love being with you too.
Yeah, absolutely. I love spending time with you. You know, but not all the time.
Not all the time at all.
We do need time apart and to, you know, do regular stuff and be normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
We lived apart for quite a few years.
Oh, absolutely. We did everything together. We had to do everything together. Literally, we did everything together. Like, if you were interested in tap dancing, I had a tap dance too. True. You know, like ballet, I ballet too. Like basketball too. Gymnastics, I gymnastics too. Yeah, so you know, I think it was probably just cheaper for mom and dad at that point. Probably. It's not like you can't be in ballet and she be in basketball. Right. Like, it's not, no, I can't be in two places at one time.
Very true.
If she's interested, y'all both got the ballet. We did everything together.
So we did split after that for a minute. It was very much needed.
Oh, absolutely. We needed that.
Oh, goodness.
But I do enjoy my individualness.
Yes, me too. Thank you for honoring that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then look, Chris, these last two questions in our top 10, they're the most interesting, weird questions I feel like we've ever been asked, but we get asked these questions so often. And I don't know if it's just, I just wish people would elaborate. Like, maybe they mean more than what they're actually asking. They just don't know how to word it.
How to articulate
because it's so weird to me. Like, so one of the questions is, what is it like to be a twin? And, you know, I have never not been a twin.
Right.
You know, like I kind of came into the world with somebody. We were both baking in a stomach together. You know, like I have never not had a twin. I've never, you know, not had to share a birthday or whatever. Like we've always been together. So when they ask me what it's like to be a twin, I just say normal.
And maybe they just mean like, what does it mean like to share?
It's like somebody said, what's it like being a girl? Like,
right.
Like,
natural?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
elaborate.
Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what is it like being a twin? Like, it's like regular. I don't feel anything different. There's no twin fairy.
So the explanation is that we're sisters, right? We just so happen to be born on the same day and look exactly alike. But if you have another sibling, that's what it feels like to have a twin. The only difference is we look alike. Honestly, I think that's what it's like. So I hope that doesn't deflate any fantasy or thought that somebody had of being a twin. Man, when they come to twins, I hope I didn't just kill it. But it pretty much is like having a completely like a sibling, but just they look exactly like you. But the thing is, we don't even see the likeness that we have. So really, I don't even think she looks much like me.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like, oh, we do favor. Or in that picture, ooh, I feel like I look like Marissa in that picture. I mean, I think we sound a lot alike.
Oh,
sometimes, you know, when I listen to voicemails you leave me, I'm like, wow, what did I call myself? And I'm like, oh, no, that's Riz.
That's right. I can give that.
So the
voices
part,
are pretty twin, you know?
Yeah, the voice part.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I impress it. We impressed ourselves. Like, we actually look like twins in that picture.
Like, we had to try hard to look like the last few photo shoots. We had to try real hard.
We actually need, like, friends and our brother in our life to remind us that we're twins.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we'll plan something and they're like, well, that's great, but people are still going to know because you guys look alike. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I didn't think about that. So I can't step in her place because they're just going to think it's her. Because we look alike. Got it. Okay.
Got it. All right. Cool.
Understood. It happens.
What it's like. Yeah, that's what it's like to be a twin, guys. It's what is it like to be a twin? We get a lot of attention. I will say that when we go out in public,
very true.
I think I will say that definitely there's no such thing as low key when we go out in public because there's always seems to be people looking at us.
They just stare.
And I'm like, what are they looking at? And then after a while, I kind of catch on to like, oh, I think it's because we're twins.
We look alike.
If we're twins. Some people actually ask the question, and some people ask the question with their eyes.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And we answer it.
Yeah.
And even though they didn't ask it, we know what they're thinking.
We kind of understand.
We've caught on to that. And then, gosh, this 10th question is just really very so weird, but I think we've both heard it a lot of times. Do you like being a twin? Again, that kind of, you know, the previous answers kind of all go for this. Like, I have never not been a twin
before.
So I think for me, it's been a positive experience. Yeah, I'd give it 5 stars.
I would say
it's okay.
I agree.
Yeah, it's okay being a twin.
Pretty good experience.
I mean, there's pros and cons with everything.
Yes.
You know, and there are some cons. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about the cons.
We'll definitely talk about some cons. But, you know, being a twin doesn't give us any, you know, discount at any stores or anything.
It doesn't.
You know, and people ask us that as though, you know, we are missing out on some money out here. So if by the way, if y'all know something, if there's some money that twins supposed to be getting, that
just let us know.
Send us the memo
write
because
that one off on the taxes.
we didn't. Is there a checkbox on the taxes that say, "Are you twin?
Right.
Legally blind? No. Twin? Yes." You know. So
well, talking about twins now, I don't know if there's a twin. There's a twin registry. There's got to be when you're born. Yes. Those people can track you because we've been getting mail from them.
Oh, I still have mail on the counter.
Like somehow when we move, they can find us. Like I don't know what twin registry we on. So if there's a con, maybe it's that.
Maybe
being
it's
put
registry.
On a twin registry.
And they start asking you
the scientists can find us.
Yeah,
to have you get all kinds of mail.
But they will pay us to take surveys.
Scientific studies about twins. So
it's very weird that they do the
studies
like we're another species.
We are.
Anyway,
special breed.
I do like being a twin, Marissa. I like being your twin.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're my twin.
I'm glad they didn't give me another twin. They could have given me
an evil twin. Anybody else? They could have been an evil twin.
It could have been an evil twin.
You heard about the twin sisters that killed each other or something. Right. We could have been those twins.
How many twins in the Bible that killed themselves?
They gave me you.
Thank you for not killing me.
All right, because for 14 years we lived together and we could have been on edge, baby, right. But we made it through the 14 years.
Oh,
I like being your twin.
I like being your twin.
How about that? I like being your twin. When they ask me next time, do you like being a twin? I like being her twin. Like I don't know about these other twins out here, but I like being.
She all right.
She good. She good with me.
They stuffed me in the womb with the right one.
Anyway, those are our answers, guys, to our top 10 common questions that we normally get. Definitely more stuff on the way in this twin series we're excited to talk about. And I do have a few questions. Of course, I always pose some questions to you all. And, for our listeners out there, do you all know any twins? Do you know any twins? Or do you have friends that are twins, and whether they're fraternal or identical? Specifically for this purpose, identical. If you do know some twins, can you tell them apart? And, telling them apart is not, for me, being a twin, telling apart is not just, I can physically tell them apart, but do you know them enough to tell them apart? Their characteristics, their personalities, that sort of thing, and say, oh, no, I can tell them apart. And just, when did you start to see the difference? I really, those are questions that I, really wonder about, because we have some friends that can definitely tell us apart that have known us our entire life. Our god sister, she's known us our entire life, but she can tell us apart very well. Mm-hmm. And so, at what point, just to yourself, just interested, and if you want to share anything about that, or your experience or your epiphany when you finally can figure two twins apart, definitely share it with us. We'll be more than happy to read your stories and, any further questions that you have. Of course, if you have any feedback, anything, you can hit us in our email, twintheorypodcasters@gmail.com. And then also remember, like, subscribe. You can leave comments on the YouTube or any of the platforms that we post on. But definitely, this is, just our introductory.
Absolutely.
Thought we would, be a little light on the intro. And just answer some of these common questions. And of course, as Marissa stated in the beginning of today's show, we'll have, some more things twin related that we'll be talking about. Hope to have some guests and stuff on the show that know us, that we can ask questions and just talk, to them about all things twins.
Yeah, and if you are interested in a topic, that you'd like to hear from us about, just, let us know. So we might be able to, squeeze that into the series and talk a little bit on it. So just let us know and we'll try to squeeze that in.
Definitely. Well, you all take care and have a fantastic rest of your January, and hope you're having a great 2021, and we will chat with y'all next month.
All
right, later.